Here is the number one tip you will ever hear to finish your game or project or whatever it is you're working on as quickly as possible, and that is to lower how much content you have planned by a lot. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer since obviously having less to do means you finish it faster, but in my experience, it is very common to ignore this and completely get out of hand with how big your goals are. Feature creep, it's the phenomenon in video games where you add as many features as possible. You get very ambitious. You just keep adding more and more features, and this gets out of hand very quickly because you find yourself only halfway through development after 2 years of consistent work, which is where I found myself earlier this year, starting to get disillusioned with how much work I had left to do according to my own set plans. For my in-progress game that I'm working on right now, Dream Flash, I planned on including at least 100 unique boss fights, plus a very long list of other features. After about 2.5 years, I had only reached the halfway mark to the final goal that I had set up for myself. Not to mention that as I would work on it, I would keep getting new ideas, and I would just keep adding more and more features to the list. A bunch of secret features that wouldn't even be completely visible to the player, that you wouldn't even be able to experience them until very late into the game. These features would take months each, I would just get carried away and kept adding them. So yeah, I felt stuck. I wanted to eventually move on to new things, but I had also spent so long on the game and was so eager to reach the end of development on Dream Flash, since that's where all of my all the fun features that I wanted to add were. So after thinking about it a while, after having this crisis, a solution finally came to me, which is to simply cut my remaining workload in half. So I had already finished about half of the bosses, so I had half left. I had 50 left. So I decided that instead of aiming for 100 bosses, I would aim for 75 bosses, and I also cut all the other planned features, and basically I cut them in half, which is still a lot of work, but significantly more manageable, and content-wise is definitely more than a lot. That's a very large amount of content for this game. So I did all of this so that I could finally finish the game in less than a year, which is much more reasonable compared to the projected 2 years that it would have probably taken to add all of the things that I had previously planned on. Now, this is also good because I could focus on only the most important and necessary features from here on out, so my remaining workload would be as efficient as possible, instead of adding half-baked ideas that I had only thought of a little bit that may not even be necessary to the game. I'm only focusing on what's completely essential. So if you're feeling a bit scared to cut back, you feel very connected. You're very fond of all the features that you've planned. I feel like coming up with this decision and letting go really isn't that bad. I decided to cut back, and I accepted this pretty quickly. In the long run, it was a much better decision than sticking with an unrealistic goal, which would result in the game possibly never being finished, or at least not for a long time. Some very common advice given to game devs that are starting out, is to make a bunch of small games so that you can get the experience faster, finishing them quickly and then moving on to the next. Now, while I have enjoyed working on Dream Flash, which is a pretty long project, and I've learned a lot from it, I definitely understand this advice that's given a lot more, getting a lot of varied experience and being able to apply that to your next project almost immediately is very important. So yeah, the rest of this video is going to be very specific to my game and its upcoming update. I hope this information helps you though. So yeah, still working on Dream Flash. I've been working on it pretty frequently actually. There hasn't been too much stopping me from this. The next update is actually nearly done. I'm basically done with all the content that will be added in this update. I'm not gonna show the secret stuff because there's a lot of cool secret stuff in this update that I don't really want to show off. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's very exciting. This is going to be the biggest update yet. The best update yet, in my opinion. We're adding a core mechanic to the game that I've been teasing for a very long time, and it's going to completely change how you play the game. And it's not an exaggeration either. No, it's a very important feature. Surprised that I haven't added it earlier, to be honest. I'm a really big fan of making people wait, I guess. So yeah, check out Dream Flash. It's available Steam Early Access for $7. Add it to your wish list or just buy it and play it now, you know. It's a pretty good time to jump in, you know. The game's starting to get really good in my opinion. So yeah, thank you for watching and take care.